Right, my name's Mischa. I'm a singer-songwriter from Bournemouth in Dorset. I've been playing the guitar for about 10 years or so, lead guitarist as well as my old acoustic stuff as well. I've been playing out as a singer-songwriter, a solo act, for around 2 years now, into the local music scene in Bournemouth. I think my influence is certainly musically the folk scene. I'm very diverse with my music taste, but my actual direct influences in terms of the acoustic music I play, I'd certainly say artists like Frank Turner, folk bands like the Levellers, and their song content about the environment, about the earth, about spirituality, that sort of stuff. Nirvana and actually the very raw basicness of music. Certainly brought about by the grunge scene, which I sort of grew up on a lot. In terms of my inspiration, I suppose it is very much what is happening to me in life. And sometimes that is very hard because my life's fairly good. I've got a 9-to-5 job, which I'm doing quite well in it. Touch wood, nothing bad's happening in my life. So my influences and my inspiration are literally what's going on around me, whether that's my work, whether that's my love life, whether that's my friends and going out and having fun. And I really just try and get the essence of what is happening in my life and put it to paper. On My Own was really created out of an emotion that happened from coming back from work. It was actually my first office job. I had my suit and tie on. I came back and I saw this guy sort of all on the floor, a lot of sort of blood and puke and stuff around him. And immediately I recognised him. This skin and bones on the floor was a guy that I used to see in the streets when I was coming back from club nights. And real cool looking guy, like David Bowie, really, really amazing looking dude. And he used to carry a guitar around with him. He was sort of a homeless guy, I think. And yeah, we used to sort of riff with each other, and I'd show him a riff, he'd show me one of his riffs. We really had a bond musically, which is really important. Anyway, I saw him coming back from work and he was overdosing on what I now know was heroin. And so I went to help him, obviously, like most people would do, or what I would hope most people would do, most of my friends would. And while I tried to sort of wrestle him up and stuff, I needed to get into a car, get him to hospital. I actually found myself struggling with this dead weight. So while I was helping, various groups of people walked by. And the first two people were an old couple, and it was dark at this time. It was the winter. It was about 6 o'clock, and they were scared by it. And I said, "Please help me." And they said, "Oh," sort of walked on by, and I understood that, but at the same time, I would hope at that age I would help out. The next group of people that walked by were a bunch of youths, I'd say around 16, what I would stereotypically call chavs. And they walked by, "Oh, what's he been up to? What's he doing? He's been on ecstasy or something." So I said, "Can you help me? Please help me. I can't get him up." This is all in the space of 5 minutes, all this stuff. And they just laughed and walked on by again. And it just gave me so little faith in the human race. I was really struggling with this guy. He was dying, sort of, I know it's a bit corny, but it was literally in my hands. He was in a lot of trouble. And finally I sort of dragged him into my car, got him in there. He was still with us, he was breathing stuff, eyes rolling, a typical sort of heroin overdose if there is a typical one. And yeah, I rushed him to A&E, and I thought, right, the nurses, the doctors, they're going to help me on this one, that's what they're there for. Walked in there, sort of crashed through the door, sort of him sort of over my arm. And I said, "Please help me, this guy's dying." And the nurses just looked at me and said, "Oh, it's him again." And he just got out of hospital, which is sort of his own fault. And I can see their sort of anger that he's now being readmitted for the same thing. They just fixed him for, but they wouldn't really help me. Obviously, they did help me. They took him in and sort of put him on a respirator and hooked him up and all that sort of stuff. But they didn't seem to care much. And after that really hit me that some people don't care about another human life. So I went home, I cried my eyes out for a little bit and wrote this song as a tribute to his life. And it was called On My Own. And also as a sort of a parallel a paradigm to my own life as well. And its own strains and stresses of life, and also how he got to that point in his life that caused him to be in that state in the first place, and the perils and the strife that we go through every day.